A Chocolate Chip Cookie Murder, Chapter 11, Part 1. Hannah couldn't say a word. Her tongue seemed glued to the roof of her mouth. She stared down at the stack of Polaroids and blinked hard. No, she wasn't imagining things. The images were still there. There were no faces, just pictures of women's torsos, and every one was nude to the waist. Hannah? Andrea reached out to grab her arm. Are you all right? Hannah took a deep breath and nodded. Who are they? Dental patients. You can tell where they were taken from the background. Andrea jabbed her finger at the top print. See that picture on the wall? It's in the room that Norman uses for cleaning teeth. I checked. This woman posed for Norman in his dental chair? Make that these women. Andrea fanned out the pictures so that Hannah could see. And I don't think they were exactly posing. See the two canisters next to the chair? One is oxygen and the other one is nitrous oxide. Laughing gas. I studied it in chemistry class. If you mix it right, it's an anesthetic. A lot of dentists use it. But if you cut down on the oxygen, it can make you lose consciousness. A couple of whiffs of the increased mixture, and these women would have passed out cold. He knocked them out and took nude photos of them. That's what it looks like to me. When they came to, they wouldn't remember a thing. Hannah shook her head. I can't believe that Norman would do something like this. He seems so normal. That's what they always say about perverts. You've heard those interviews on the news. All the neighbors say they can't believe it, that he seems like such a normal guy. Hannah blinked and stared down at the photographs again. She still couldn't believe that Norman could have taken these pictures. She picked up the stack of Polaroids and rifled through them again. I wonder if... What is it? Andrea turned to stare at her sister when Hannah stopped speaking abruptly. It's this one. Hannah pointed to the picture. There's a gold chain around her neck and that pendant. I know I've seen it before. Andrea grabbed the photo for a second look. You're right. I've seen it too. It's a Celtic cross, isn't it? That's right. Hannah's eyes widened as she recognized the subject of the photo. Norman didn't take these pictures, Andrea. He didn't? He couldn't have taken them. That's Miss McNally, our 7th grade math teacher, and she left Lake Eden to get married 3 years ago. Andrea stared down at the photo in shock. Miss McNally is the only one who ever wore a cross like that. Norman's father must have taken these pictures. What are we going to do? Hannah's brain shifted gears. First, we're not going to tell anybody about them. Norman's father is dead. It's too late to do anything to him now. Making this public would just mortify his mother and embarrass the women. That makes sense, Andrea agreed quickly. Do you suppose Norman knows what his father did? I don't know. Where did he find these pictures? They were in the storeroom. I found them in a little box under a stack of old x-rays. It was filthy back there, Hannah. There must have been an inch of dust on those x-rays and... Andrea stopped, realizing what she'd just said. Norman doesn't know about them, Hannah. There was just too much dust. I'm almost positive that stack of x-rays hadn't been touched in at least a year. Hannah breathed a sigh of relief. Good. Do you think you got all of the photos? I think so. I dumped the box in that envelope, and I spent at least 5 minutes looking for more. Andrea reached out to gather up the photos and turned them face down. What are we going to do with them, Hannah? We're going to destroy them. I'll throw them in my fireplace tonight. You can't do that, Andrea objected. You've got a gas log. You're not supposed to burn anything in your fireplace. Maybe we should shred them. I'd do it at work, but Al would ask me what I was shredding. Let's try industrial strength stain remover, Hannah suggested as she slid off her stool. I used it to clean the rust stains off my bathroom sink, and I've got some left in the bottle. It's supposed to take anything off anything. Andrea followed Hannah to the sink and watched as she poured several inches of stain remover into the bottom of her stainless steel sink. They dropped in one of the photos, and Hannah moved it around with the handle of one of her long mixing spoons. It took a minute or so, but eventually the photo bleached out to white. "It works!" Andrea sounded surprised. "How did you know to do that?" "I saw something like it in a movie." "Go ahead, Andrea. You put in the photos and I'll stir them around." In less than 5 minutes, the nude photos had disappeared, leaving perfectly white paper behind. Hannah pulled the plug, ran some clear water over the paper, and dumped the whole mess into the garbage. "I guess I'd better get back to the office." Andrea glanced up at the clock. "I have to pick up the keys and some flyers before my showing." Hannah gave her a little hug. "Thanks for all your help, Andrea. You're really a good snooper, and I'm glad you found those pictures before Norman or his mother stumbled across them." "So am I." Andrea gave her a sunny smile and headed for the swinging door. She stopped, her hand extended to push it open, and turned back. "Hannah?" "Yes?" "I think you should go to the Woodleys' party with Norman. I was wrong. He's boring, but he really is a nice guy."